HooHooHooRobin.
Got another big celebrity calling in today, Anthony. Oh, Chris Jericho.
Hello.
How are you, Mr. Jericho?
That's what we should do. You should say, if you don't send $50,000 to Opie and Anthony, that you'll kill and eat Chris Jericho.
There'll be no eating of you, sir.
Yeah, that's like creepy on so many levels.
We can make a couple bucks.
Do we have to call you Fozzy through this whole interview again?
No, it was Mule Juice McQuaid.
Oh,
Yeah, that's right. That was like 5 years ago.
That was a long time ago.
All right, I forgot.
That was a long time. That's when we first started the band. We were doing the alter ego thing.
Right.
Remember, it was myself and Dice Clay.
Yeah, Dice. I remember
Dice
that.
didn't understand what was going on. It was pretty funny to watch his reaction. It was pretty cool.
Because back then, Anthony and I were really following wrestling. We're like, no, man, it's Chris Jericho. We want to get into this a little bit.
And you wouldn't fess up to being Chris Jericho.
You wouldn't acknowledge it.
It was so annoying.
It was really annoying. So, I mean, if that's what you were accomplishing that day, you did. You accomplished it.
Well, that's my mission, to be annoying.
But you know what? I got to tell you something. So you did start this band, Fozzy, as a goof, sort of, right?
Well, we started out playing cover songs, and we got a record deal from playing cover songs, and so, I mean, the world has enough cover bands as it is, so we kind of came up with that whole story just to make it something a little bit different. So that's kind of how the band started out originally, 6 years ago when we first started.
And then what? You started actually playing together and getting tight and writing your own songs?
Yeah, exactly. We realized that we actually had some good chemistry as a band, and we had chemistry as songwriters. So I guess about 3 years ago we started to, just do our own thing and play our own stuff. And I mean, that's kind of where we've gone. Like, the band kind of evolved into being an actual, quote unquote band.
How often do you guys play? You touring out, or what are you doing with the band?
Yeah, we play as much as we can. We play quite a few shows in the States actually after WWE shows. But we've done a lot of stuff in Europe, actually. We just did a tour of England in February. We're going back there in May. And we're doing a tour of Germany in April, and we're doing some shows with Motorhead in the States coming up next week. So things are going good with the band as far as live shows go.
They just
released our third record called All That Remains, which is doing really good. I mean, it's getting airplay in like 70 stations across the States, and the videos on MTV, so it's a good time for the band right now.
Really fast. I mean, they're just starved for entertainment overseas, it seems like. And I'm not trashing you, trust me, because I'm about to give you a great plug. I think the new song is unbelievable. But it just seems like everyone just goes over to Europe and just makes boatloads of dough, and they just eat up whatever over there. And then it's a lot harder to make it in America. Like, there's a lot of bands, and I'm not saying you again, but you just something clicked in my head. A lot of bands that have just been done for years in the States, and we end up talking to them over the years, and all of a sudden they're huge in Japan, huge in Germany, huge here, but they can't even sell out a tiny little club in America. It's the strangest thing, and it happens over and over again.
That's not a cut down. I mean, you're totally telling the truth. It seems like, I think because maybe like in America, people are kind of more trend oriented. Whatever's trendy is kind of what people are into. But in Europe, there's not really trends. It's just kind of everything exists over there. Rock and roll and hard rock and metal is still very, very popular in Europe and in the UK and all those countries there. So maybe that has something to do with it. I don't know, because you're right. Like a band like Mr. Big, let's say, had a few hits in the States, and then that was basically it. And when they played in Japan, they do like the Budokan, which is like Madison Square Garden, like 5 nights in a row, selling out all 5 nights.
Isn't that amazing?
And they come here and play, at the freaking Tribeca Rock Club in New York City.
There's a lot of examples of bands that are doing exactly what you just described too.
Hey, are you going to be playing in LA with Motorhead in like early April?
Yeah, we're playing actually April 1st. We're playing with Motorhead in LA.
You ever play with them before?
We never have. I've hung out with Lemmy and done a bunch of stuff with him promotion, but we've never actually played together before.
Yeah, Lemmy's a rip.
He's the epitome of a rock star. He's like almost 60.
Yeah.
And he's banging all these like 20-year-old stripper girls, and just drinks every day and sleeps till 5 o'clock in the afternoon. He's definitely the king of rock and roll for sure.
Yeah. Lemmy's a rip, man.
Well, Chris, so here's where it comes full circle. So the whole Fozzy thing, and we helped promote and stuff, and it wasn't bad. I'm not, it was good for cover stuff, whatever. And then my friend Eddie from Big Brother, the one-legged dude, he's a real good friend. He's a real good friend of ours. He emails me out of nowhere. He's like, dude, I just want to, show you what I've been up to, and it's the video for this song "Enemy" from your band Fozzy. And I'm like, all right, well, I'll check it out because Eddie's a friend of mine, and, we sort of know Chris over the years. And so I played the video, and I was blown away by the song and the video.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, it's actually pretty funny. Did you see the whole version where Eddie throws himself over the edge of the building?
Oh, yeah.
Why, they're not playing that version on...
On MTV, the controversial ending.
Ah, are you kidding me?
Those pussies, man.
Let me just explain the video. Eddie is, one-legged Eddie, and he's showing up for work, I guess, because he's in a suit and tie in his wheelchair. And, the elevator's busted, so now he has to go up, 15 floors or whatever? And he's crawling up, the stairwell, Anthony, floor by floor by floor. And while he's climbing, he's pretty much realizing how much his life sucks because I guess he lost a chick and now she's banging someone else, right? Right, Chris? Right. And then he decides, screw this, and he goes all the way up to the roof. And then he gets himself to the side of the roof. He reads one last love letter or a picture from her or whatever, and then just throws himself off the roof. He's like, I'm done.
Yeah.
But that's not the version they're running?
Well, no, the controversial ending, you can see, I think it was Jay-Z gets shot in his new video, blood capsules and everything, but, we can't throw an amputee off of a rooftop. Where's the justice in the world? But yet they've cut that ending out. But like you said, the video is getting a great response, and Eddie, may I just say, was an awesome guy. He worked his ass off in this video, because he really did have to, climb up the stairs just using his hands, and he has only one leg.
Dude, he's an animal. He's an animal, though.
He moves around faster than you or I do with two legs. It's very natural for him. But, so when MTV accepted the video, they wouldn't play, the controversial ending, so they edit the ending out, which just kind of doesn't make sense when the video happens. He climbs to the top, and then that's it.
Yeah, that's the big payoff, and you don't really see him fall. You just know that he threw himself over the side. That's the payoff to the whole video.
That's the whole point, but it's typical MTV. So just the fact that it got on MTV and it's in rotation is cool, but people have been going to, there's a site called iFilm, which is an offshoot of iTunes,
right?
And they show all the videos there, and the video's number 2 in the rock section because people want to check out the real version,
Yeah.
But yeah, the controversial ending that MTV does not want you to see.
That's
seen on iFilm.com.
And
I didn't know Eddie was a buddy of yours. He's a really good guy, man. I was really impressed with him. And the thing that was cool is, our band, we don't have any money. And Eddie came out to do it basically just for fun and for his resume. And we got him a ticket. And when he got to the airport to pick up his ticket, it wasn't there for some reason. There was a screw up at the airport. So, most people would just show up at the airport, not have a ticket, and just say, screw this and go home. But Eddie actually, called and stayed at the airport for, 2 or 3 hours to make sure that he got the ticket to come to the shoot. Just a total professional all across the board. He was a great guy.
Yeah, I met him through the radio show, and he's just a good friend of mine to this day. Really, really just a solid dude, so.
Yeah, very genuine, man. He was a pleasure to work with and a pleasure to meet him. So he was the star of the Fozzy video for Enemy.
No, but yeah, congratulations, because I really, really like the song a lot.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you. That's the song that's actually said it's getting airplay all across the states on 70 different stations. But you guys know how the radio business works. To get played on K-Rock in New York or KLS in LA, you got to pay big bucks. So we're not getting played on those stations. We're the number one song in Charlottesville, Virginia, and Peoria, Illinois, and stuff like that.
Dude,
so you start out on the smaller stations and work your way up, kind of thing.
Hang with us. This satellite radio thing is where it's all going, my brother.
Well, there you go. And see, I don't know if you guys know this as well, but I'm a satellite radio brother with you guys.
Really?
I too have my own show on the Boneyard, XM41, on Sunday nights at 8 o'clock.
I'll call in the show.
Yeah, that's the thing. I taped the show.
There you go.
On a DAP
nice and easy.
in my hotel room, and just send them the show, and then they edit in the songs later on. But you guys are right. It's so cool to be involved with XM Radio at this point because, and I think in about 3 or 4 years, everybody's going to have an XM radio in their car.
Right.
Don't you agree? FM radio, as we know it now, is almost going to become obsolete.
Yeah, no, we got in nice and early. In another year or two, it's going to blow everything away. So, hey,
and you can do whatever the hell you want. You can swear, you can, do anything, and you don't have to worry about sponsors and censors, and it's definitely the way to go.
Hey, Chris, what's going on with wrestling in general?
We have WrestleMania coming up in just under 2 weeks. That's going to be out in LA. That's April 3rd.
I'm trying to get back into it. There was a time when Ant and I were at WNEW. We knew all the storylines, sometimes better than some of the guys. We were really obsessed with the whole thing. And I don't know. I mean, you guys are still doing well, but it just doesn't seem like you're doing as well as 5-6 years ago.
Well, let me ask you guys a question. Being ex-avid wrestling fans, what was the reason that you got out of wrestling?
I liked when Vince just didn't give a shit, man, and all these groups came forward, and he was like, well, screw you, I'm still gonna be politically incorrect and things like that. It just seems to me that he started listening to a lot of the advertisers and a lot of these special interest groups just a little too much, because some of the stuff you guys got away with was just crazy.
It was crazy, yeah, at the time, I think a lot of it had to do with the whole Janet Jackson thing, Boob Gate or whatever they called it last year. After that, the FCC was cracking down huge. And Vince, he kind of played their game and didn't want to take the heat for it. So we did really get toned down, and we were toning down anyways. But after the Super Bowl last year, kind of lost. We weren't even allowed to say, like hell or ass in the first hour of the show, and that's how cookie cutter we got for a while.
Yeah, see, that's what I noticed all those changes. They were kind of started subtly at first, but I don't know, man. The old days where. I don't know, you're beating the crap out of the old wrestler there, and she's making out, and she was pregnant and having...
Yeah, she was pregnant with a hand.
Yeah, she was having
about that one.
She was having whose love child? I forgot the storyline at the
Mark
time.
Mark Henry, the big black...
Oh, yeah.
I love the ridiculous storylines.
They were great. They just kept you really into what was going on.
Yeah, wrestling goes after the whole, like I said, after Boobgate, impregnating 80-year-old ladies and having them give birth to hands just wasn't apropos to the censors anymore.
It goes in phases too. It goes in waves. Wrestling, the popularity. It goes up and down a little bit, but yeah, it always seems to come back. And I'm sure Vince will figure something out.
Yeah, it's not like you guys are hurting that bad. I just noticed a drop off as far as my viewing habits go. That's all.
Well, that happened. I mean, yeah, it definitely was very, very popular, kind of, late 99 or late 90s, early 2000. Then we kind of suffered a little bit of a dip, and it's kind of coming back up right now. It always does around WrestleMania time, like I said. The people come back, check it out, because there's always a buzz about WrestleMania. It's like the Super Bowl of wrestling, and so hopefully we can continue on along that way. Because like you said, even though business is down, it's still huge business.
Oh, yeah.
Instead of playing in front of, 8,000 people, we do in front of, 5,000 or something along those lines. So.
Right. So what do you do?
Like you said, it definitely comes in waves and cycles. It's always been that way since I started in 1990. So we just have to, ride the wave out until something catches on with the general public to bring up the awareness all over again.
And what are you doing for WrestleMania this year?
I'm in a
Money in the Bank ladder
match
yeah.
for the number one contender for the WWE Championship.
Okay.
So it's a pretty, it's one of them crazy ass ladder matches where you go out there and just get the shit kicked out of you by this stupid steel ladder. So we'll have to see what happens.
Some of those ladder matches are just unbelievable.
All of them. I had a ladder match last year in September. I'm going to give you guys some inside information, probably too much information. I slipped and fell off the damn ladder, and I kind of landed on it ass first, where, for all intents and purposes, the ladder went up my ass pretty much. And, not exactly the best feeling. And it's 6 months later, and it still hurts me to sit. So I had to go to the doctor last week, and he said I'm having problems with my coccyx bone. Have you guys ever heard of this?
It's like the tailbone, right? The coccyx.
That's the end of your spine, right?
The end of the tailbone. It's this little frickin' bone at the very end, about half an inch long, called the coccyx. And I've broken my coccyx, ladies and gentlemen.
Ooh.
So it's like I have to take all these pills and all this stuff
that
for
really
a broken
hurts.
coccyx. Only in wrestling, because you suffer from a broken coccyx at the end of your tailbone, basically up your ass.
Yeah,
nice work.
You broke your ass, basically.
Hey,
yeah.
Chris, have you seen the China X-Pac video?
You know what, man? I have not watched it. I can't bring myself to see it. Even for like a car crash mentality, I just don't know who had a bigger penis. Was it China or was it X-Pac?
Yeah, exactly, man. We were watching that one day in here, and wow, there's something going on down there.
It's nice.
Is it bad? Yes, it's bad. There's something going on down there.
It's as big as your thumb.
Oh man, it's like I've seen her on Surreal Life, and she's really fallen, man. And it's just I couldn't bring myself to look at that sex tape. I mean, there's certain things I don't want to see two wildebeests having sex either. It's just not something that really appeals to me.
Well, the Surreal Life makes it look like China's a raging alcoholic too.
Yeah, and a raging lunatic as well.
I know. And we've had her on the show many times, and it looks like to us that her personality has changed, and she's in a bad place these days. I don't know.
Man, it's the drugs, right? I mean, you see it happen all the time. I guess she just kind of lost herself, and
It's actually a very
When you
sexy
see that,
video.
She was a really, really nice girl, and she was on top of the world, you know, and just, people just fall like that. And I don't know, that happens in the wrestling game over and over again. You know, I don't know why it's so susceptible in wrestling. I guess maybe in rock and roll music as well. But people never learn their lessons.
People make some really bad moves,
Yeah. Hey,
absolutely.
Is Hogan and Austin coming back for WrestleMania?
Austin is coming back for WrestleMania for Piper's Pit, you know, with Roddy Piper.
Mm-hmm.
Roddy.
And then Hogan is coming back to get inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame.
Oh, but I bet you
but
something.
He's not wrestling on WrestleMania.
Oh, yes, he will be, because something's going to happen. Something's going to happen. I'm thinking it's going to be.
Something will happen where they end up coming back, especially Hogan. He always kind of comes back and forth, you know, every couple of years.
Yeah.
He hasn't been around for a while, so I bet you he's begging to come back.
Know why he hasn't been out there on the road in the last few years?
No, he hasn't. He worked with us back in 2002.
Chris,
so
I know.
About 3 years.
I know the answer though. He wants to keep tabs on that hot daughter of his.
Exactly.
Dude, she's dressing. She's what, 15 or something, but she's dressing like she's, you know, in her 20s, and she's showing up at all these, you know, premieres and stuff. Just a piece of ass.
No, she's a hot chick to say the least, for sure. Yeah, she's only 15.
Something like that, but they're parading her out there like she's some sex symbol in her 20s or whatever.
You're getting that. You're getting that on the road though, right, Chris? When you tour with the band, get those 15-year-olds.
There's a picture.
That happens all the time. I mean, what are you going to do, right? As long as they don't tell the cops, what difference does it make?
Wow.
But yeah, they're trying to make her like into a Britney Spears, you know, Christina Aguilera, kind of the, you know, 16-year-old slut.
You know, in her
singer chick, you know.
In the face, she's much hotter than both those girls too. By the way.
Oh yeah, she's a big girl too, man. She's about 6 feet tall.
Wow,
so
really?
She can whip their asses as well.
Yeah.
She's a great singer too, so I'm assuming one of these days she'll probably break through. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing that Hogan's her dad, though. I wonder if that would help or hinder, you know?
I don't know. I'd hate to go over and pick her up and have to deal with the leg drop. Hey, brother. Oh, no. What'd you do to my daughter?
Like some of the guys from the Backstreet Boys are calling his house asking for her, and he's like, listen, brother, she's 15. Don't call back anymore. She's trouble.
Yeah, but she shouldn't dress like she dresses.
Oh, my God. We're looking at another shot of her. She's really not wearing much.
How are you supposed to know?
That is not a 15-year-old girl right there.
Right. I mean, how is a unsuspecting guy like ourselves supposed to know? I mean, we don't know.
Yeah, look at that.
Poor Hulk. He's got to deal with that.
All right. All right, Chris, you're coming to town in, I think, middle of April. You should stop by.
Yeah, April 18th we're coming to town. Yeah, maybe I should come by. Yeah, you guys are on till 10, right? Or is that
11.
Yeah, until
we moved
11.
The show to 11 a.m. East Coast.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, I'll try and set it up and come and hang out with you guys. That'd be great. XM Brothers. Who would have ever thunk it?
That's
6 years ago, when I first came into your studio, that was one day we'd be working for the same company.
Cool. All right, Chris, we'll let you be.
All right, fellas, appreciate it.
All right, we'll talk to you soon. All right.
Okay, take care.
Bye.
Thank you. There he goes, Chris Jericho. We should play his song. I should have told him we were going to play his song. Someone will get back to him and tell him we played his song.